The partial government shutdown, now in its third week, results in the closure of things like national parks and government buildings.
But the shutdown also has the potential to impact things like food stamps and tax refunds if the shutdown continues into February.
I took a look into what could be awaiting us if an agreement isn't reached by the end of this month and those impacts that they could have on Mesa County.
We're hopeful that the shutdown will be over and everything will just progress as usual.
The partial government shutdown is now in day 17, and people are beginning to worry about how that will affect things like tax returns.
People often rely on their tax refunds to either pay bills that they may have piled up during the holiday season or to make a purchase of a consumer durable or even things like rent and food and so on.
Tax filing season starts to pick up in January and February, but with the IRS closed, it's not clear if tax returns will be delayed or even frozen if the government remains in a stalemate.
We have not had the opportunity to call the IRS, just trying to see what we need to prepare for as we're getting into this filing season.
The Treasury Department said in a statement that it will finalize and release a plan for the tax filing season in the coming days. But until then, citizens will be left in the dark. What's more is that if the shutdown continues into February, that could potentially affect the Department of Agriculture's SNAP program, or food stamp program, which only has funding through the end of this month.
At this point, everybody's SNAP benefits are okay through the end of January. At that point in time, we don't have any further information.
And in Mesa County, that could result in reduced or cut benefits for a lot of people.
A little more than 17,000 people in Mesa County that receive benefits, and that equals to a little more than $2 million.
But even if SNAP runs out of funding, residents can be sure of local, not federally funded programs that are always willing to help out.
Mesa County has lots of different community organizations that'll step up when in need for other families. There's the food banks and those kinds of things, and so those are all still at this point going to be operating.
At this time, the future of both issues is uncertain, but both the Department of Agriculture and the IRS are aware of these dilemmas and are working towards a solution. First on the Western Slope, I'm Katrin Asaf reporting for KREX 5 News. Regardless of the shutdown, those who owe the IRS are still required to pay, and you can still file your taxes during the closure. Officials from the Office of Management and Budget say the funding is there for the IRS to process income tax returns. The question is just when. And in terms of the SNAP program, that can survive off of emergency revenue until the end of February.